Hey, family and friends, I want us to think about something today. I am reminded of Governor Phil Murphy's words about a New Jersey resident who died, Dr. Derek Nelson. Here's what Phil Murphy said about Dr. Nelson. He said, Dr. Nelson was a man of immense character and kindness, a pillar of his community, and beloved by all who knew him. And he went on to state that family, friends, community members, everybody remembered Dr. Nelson because he was known for his generosity and his community service. And it really made me wonder, as we live our lives each day, we engage in various relationships with people, be it our family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, brethren. We're always interfacing and encountering different individuals, and we have levels of relationships with all of them. And when we have relationships with people, we leave a mark on them. We really do. Whether we interact with a person for 1 minute, 1 day, a year, 10 years, it doesn't matter. We always leave a mark, an impression on them. It may be positive or it may be negative, but we leave an impression. And then I'm reminded of the word legacy, right? Legacy is something that is transmitted by or received from an ancestor or predecessor. So when I thought about legacy, I was thinking about just the word transmitted. I want us to focus on the word transmitted for a few moments. Transmitted, to transmit, really means to pass on from one place or person to another. It's to transfer, to impart. And so when we engage in relationships with many different individuals, whether it's family or friends, we're transferring something. We're transmitting something in some way or the other. Think about that. That makes us very, very, very powerful and can have a great impact on the lives of people. We are actually transmitters. We're actually transmitters, believe it or not. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, we are transmitters. The question, though, is, what are we transmitting? That's really the question. What are we transferring to the individuals who we interact with on a regular basis, or someone we've seen for the first time? I want to just remind us of a quote by Shannon Alder. And the quote says, "It's not what we leave for others, right, that truly matters." And I'm just thinking of legacy now, and the whole idea of transmitting. It's not what we leave for others that truly matters. It is what we leave in them that matters most. It's what we imprint on their lives that matters most. It's what we leave in them. I heard that Kobe Bryant talked about what Michael Jordan transmitted to him: a work ethic, a discipline, right, to get to a level of excellence, working really hard. That is what was imprinted on him from his interaction and his relationship with this great icon. And so I'm reminded of Moses. Let us look at Exodus 33 verse 11. Exodus 33 verse 11 says, "Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face," a relationship, "just as a man speaks to his friend. When Moses returned to the camp, his servant Joshua," right, the son of Nun, a young man, "would not depart from the tent." In other words, Joshua was a witness to Moses' communication, fellowship, and encounter with God. And so this same young man over time became Moses' predecessor. he then became the leader of the children of Israel. And what Moses transmitted to Joshua was the practice, the value, the power of communion with God. The question is, what are we transmitting? What are we transferring to others? When we look at Genesis 15 verse 6, the Bible says Abram believed the Lord. The Lord was pleased with Abram because he believed. So Abram's faith made him right with the Lord. So when we look at Abram, when we think about Abram, we think about a man of faith. So much faith that he obeyed God even when he did not know where God was leading him, or exactly when God was going to do what he promised. And so when we think of Abraham and we think of the faith that Abraham demonstrated, that's what he transmitted to us. That's the imprint his life has made in us. Let's look at David in 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 14 to 15. Wearing a linen ephod, David was dancing before the Lord with all his might. Wow. With all his might, he was dancing before the Lord, while he and all Israel were bringing up the ark of the Lord with shouts and the sound of trumpets. In 2 Samuel 12 verse 20, here again, David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his clothes. And he went into the house of the Lord and worshiped. So when we think of David, we think of worship. That's what he has transferred. That's what he has transmitted. That is the imprint that he has made on us. 1 Timothy 4 verse 12, let's turn to that. It says, set an example, and I'm just reading a part of it. Set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. These are things that we must transmit. How we speak in love, how we behave in love, the acts of faith. That's what we're leaving. So the question is, what is our legacy? What will we be remembered for? What imprint will we make in the individuals that we are in relationship with or who we've encountered? Titus 2 verse 7 says, in everything set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching, show integrity, dignity. These are things that we should impart. These are things that need to be imprinted in the lives of others. So it's not what we leave for others. Money is good. Houses are great. Land is good. But those are not what truly matters for our children and for generations to come. What really matters is what we leave in them. It's what matters is what we leave in them. And so I want us to just contemplate, just think about this as we proceed throughout this year, as we look, as we reflect on our conduct, our speech, what we're saying, whether it's words of encouragement, words of inspiration, or words of discouragement, words of rejection. Let's consider what we're leaving in the individuals that we interface with each day. God bless you.